Hey, what's up, YouTube? Bar911970 here. Thank you as always for watching my video, and I hope you guys enjoyed your weekend, even considering some of the situations that have been happening the past couple of days. This is what I want to talk to people about. For the longest time when I've been making videos, and if you've been following me since my old channel, Bar911967, I was always telling people to prepare for things in case of any type of an emergency. And it doesn't mean that means end of the world scenarios. People who've been watching me know I don't believe in that stuff. There is no end of the world scenario coming. I'm sorry to disappoint people that think that these are end times and the world is going to die. You know, throughout history we've heard this hundreds if not thousands of times. I mean, just to look at the past couple of years when they were talking about the East Coast flooding. We were talking about Narabu, or whatever they called it. September 21st, 2012. Remember that priest back in 2011 that was predicting this, I don't remember the months, but I remember sometime around May or June he said this is the end times. Then he said he recalculated it actually was in October and November. It's all about fear. So we have to start realizing that end of the world scenarios are some people's sick way of getting people to panic and spend a lot of money on things that they'll never use, like bunkers and things like that. And if you ever see some of these videos out there about people who manufacture bunkers, they say they can't keep up with the amount of orders that they're getting. Now, that doesn't mean things don't happen. I know some people say, oh, well, you know, it's the whole boy that cried wolf kind of situation. And although that does happen, it's not every time. I mean, look how we caught the NSA spying on American citizens. Look at Operation Fast and Furious. Look at 9/11. Look at all the things that are going on, like Sandy Hook, the Batman shooting in the Batman movie shooting in Colorado. There are a lot of situations out there that do happen. But if you start to notice the end of the world situations where comets are coming, meteors are coming, aliens are coming, you know, God is coming to destroy us, we have to stop with the end of the world stuff. Now, could that happen someday? You never know. There's nothing that's impossible. But if you go throughout history, all the times where the world was supposed to come to an end, like every turn of the century or the turn of the millennia, everybody was predicting that's the end of the times. So I don't think we're any different from any other time in history. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't prepare for things just in case. And this latest situation with the EBT and the food stamp situation, where 17 states couldn't get their food, you could see how quickly people panic and overreact. Now, this was a glitch that ended up within 48 hours correcting itself. Now, just imagine if there was a scenario where there's a power outage or a bigger government shutdown or something like that, or just some kind of regular event where that situation happened for a week or a month. Just imagine how the people are. Look what happened within 24 hours of that situation. People are already trying to overhype it, saying it's nationwide. And let me tell you something. Nationwide doesn't mean, well, there was one place in California and there was one place in New Jersey, so that hits both coasts, so that's nationwide. No. Because, like, for example, if the government said there's going to be martial law nationwide, what that means is everywhere. That wouldn't mean if the president came onto the television and made a statement that says, all right, we're going to have martial law nationwide, that does not mean he's saying, okay, 17 states. So we have to not over-dramatize things, because that creates fear, it creates panic, and if somebody's doing that just to get people to view their channel, you're in this for the wrong reasons. You know, but we'll leave it at that. But what I'm saying is prepare for things just in case, and I've always said this. Like, and I don't mean just gold and silver. You know, that's a great thing to have. But if there is an economic collapse, or there is a full government shutdown, or something very serious that could happen, like a martial law, I mean, it's not like they haven't done it before, or even something is like a storm. Look at what happened with Hurricane Sandy. When the East Coast was hit by that, for just a week or so, when people couldn't get gas, there were people sleeping in lines, waiting for any amount of gas they can get. There were people who killed each other over it. There were fights. There was looting. And that's something that didn't even last a month. So what I'm saying is, don't just prepare by getting gold and silver. Is that a great thing? Yes. But that's not the immediate thing you're going to need. You're going to need things like food, water, medicines, things like this, batteries. And don't forget, if you have animals, stock up on food for them as well. You know, if you have a dog or a cat, stock up on cat food, stock up on dog food. Those are things that people don't think about. But you notice that when there is a situation where people start to panic, and you could see it's instant, when some kind of news happens, people panic. They use fear and emotion instead of logic and reason, and they just go blindly and do whatever they have to do, whether that means robbing somebody, killing somebody, looting a store, what have you. And you don't want to be one of those people that's waiting in line to try and get the last scrap of food because you thought this couldn't happen. Now again, I'm not talking about end-of-the-world scenarios. Something as simple as a power outage for a week, or a storm that could keep you in your house, can be enough to kill people. There are elderly people where if the temperature is too hot, or the temperature is too cold, people die. So if it affects you in that way, well, that's the end of the world for you. But if you don't prepare for things in advance, you're going to be one of the masses who will panic, overreact, and fight to the death to get the little scraps. So I hope this teaches people that even though it wasn't a conspiracy to shut down the system, because that'd be a pretty stupid conspiracy if they just shut down 17 states, but it does show how quickly people will overreact, how information will get blown out of proportion, how people, instead of researching things and finding out, they just report what they hear. If you notice on my channel with my video I made, I actually went to the store with my tenant, used his EBT card to prove that it went through, and I showed a receipt. Don't you wish more people had that kind of journalistic integrity in the news, in the mainstream media? They don't go out and investigate things. They don't go out and question things, what is being popularly said. They just read off a card and say what everybody else says. So if that's the kind of news you want, you might as well just go on mainstream media to read it, or to listen to it, or to hear it, or to watch it. So I want people to use this as a lesson. Anything can happen at any moment. That's not paranoia. That's realism. And if you're not prepared for situations, it's too late once they happen. And I hope this will teach some people to not live day by day, because even companies and corporations as big as Walmart, they don't stock excess supplies. They only have a limited amount that they get. So just imagine if there's a trucker strike, and all of a sudden trucks aren't bringing in food and supplies, and Walmart runs out within 3 days. Then what do you do? So again, people can view this and say, oh, that's just being paranoid. I can't convince people how to live their lives. All I can do is give information. What you do with it is totally up to you. But if you haven't learned from things like Hurricane Sandy, if you haven't learned from this EBT situation, then some people are just never going to learn, and they're going to find out the hard way. But as far as us, quote-unquote, truthers, we need to be more responsible. We need to be better than the mainstream media, and don't hype things up just to get views. Well, as you'll see with this video, I'll get 150, 200, maybe even 300 views on it. So I'm not reaching the masses, but I'm also not misleading them either. So we need to be more responsible than that. If you're doing this because you'll get people to visit your site to get ads for your advertisements, or you just want people to visit your channel so you could say, oh, I was the one that started the story, well then, are you really doing this to help people, or are you doing it to boost your own ego? So I'm going to leave it at that. I hope people will start stocking up on canned foods, batteries, toiletries, medicines, all the things that you need, so this way, if you ever need them, you have them. And you're not one of the people standing online fighting for that last bottle of water or that last can of food on the shelf. It may never happen, but worst comes to worst, if it doesn't, Well, guess what? You don't have to go shopping for a while. And as you see how prices keep rising, you save money. So how is it a bad thing? All right, guys, thanks for watching. As always, I appreciate it. Leave your comments after the beep, and enjoy the rest of your night. Can't wait to see what the news talks about next. Peace.